Round 3 and the Scottish Championship moves to the northeast for the Granite City Rally, which is also a counter in the British National Championship. At number 8 is local driver David Galanders, hoping for better luck than the previous year when he had a dismal performance in an MG Montego.
A little bit quick on a Montego, I think, but if they say it's snowing as it is, then the Montego might be a better bet today, you know, but we'll see what happens.
Right, best of luck, we'll see you later.
I could do with a bit of luck.
It may have been April, but that didn't stop the snow as reigning Scottish champion Colin McRae, Jimmy's eldest son, swept through the Carini stage. But he was under pressure from Jimmy Girvan, who, after 2 victories, wanted to capitalise on his early success and gain valuable championship points. But he was plagued by punctures. Colin McRae, meanwhile, had a sensational drive, only to have his differential fail 3 stages from the finish, depriving him of his first national event win. David Galanders suffered the same fate as McRae and failed to finish. While Donald Milne also joined the list of retirements, withdrawing the Peugeot. Phil Walker battled against a blowing exhaust for most of the day, but still managed a spectacular drive. Jimmy Girvan pressed on but couldn't quite catch the other 4-wheel drive Celica of Graham Middleton from Shropshire. Phil Walker's Escort was now really suffering and early retirement was just around the corner. At the service halt in Huntly, Girvan's mechanics were waiting to check the car to make sure all was well. And there were just minor problems.
We're flying either second eagle or third, you know, I'm not too sure, but we'll need to wait until Graham comes in, get his time. So we've had a few good runs in the last stage, going very well indeed. We're getting a bit of a noise from this front suspension here, but it's I don't think it's a big problem. It's just when you're going slow, you're hearing this knocking noise. So if we can just get this to the end, we'll be fine.
Brother Wilson couldn't match Jimmy's pace, but rode on to 28th place in his Cosworth, while Jimmy settled for runner-up position. The crowds, meanwhile, were left wondering what had happened to the weather. But the weather did improve by May for the Argyle stages, with some welcome, dry, bright conditions, a contrast to the previous 3 rounds. Jimmy Girvan looked all set to take his 4th championship victory in a row. But he was delayed in the dust when Murray Grierson restarted after crashing and slipped down to 2nd place. Andrew Wood, again in the Ascona, put the pressure on the leaders through the Knapdale stage, and although slowed by suspension problems, finished 3rd overall. Murray Grierson had lost 2 minutes through his diversion into a ditch, but on other stages, like Argyle, he regained some time and still finished within the top 10. Phil Walker again set some fastest times in his left-hand drive Escort, proving that the car may be elderly, but it has a good rally pedigree. An excellent drive throughout the day, and he was rewarded with 7th place. Bob Locke had come over from the Isle of Man, but the trip was to end in disaster when he rolled his Audi near the shores of Loch Awe. The small Mazda 323 of Colin Valentine worked hard all day, and in spite of a smashed wheel and suspension damage, ended an excellent 6th overall. George Gold, though, in another Mazda, wasn't doing quite so well. Alistair McRae was now among the contenders for the Challengers Award for the best newcomer to the sport, helped by his 1300cc class win in this 4th round. So the sights were set on the highlight of the year, the Scottish International Rally, and round 5 of the championship. And once again at the wheel of another car, Andrew Wood, this time with an Isle of Man registered Audi 90 Quattro, seen here in De Villa Forest in Fife in a particularly gritty spirit. But Farmer Wood didn't have it all his own way, in spite of 4-wheel drive, with this spin in Craigvinian Forest in Perthshire. David Galanders had changed cars again too. For the International, he was out with the Toyota Celica GT4. Lotte Lundqvist's Astra GTE was caught on the Craigvinian stage by Colin Valentine's Mazda 323. He was anxious to get past. Ian Wilson from Stonehouse had a good rally, consolidating his win in the Argyle stages the month before. Wood battered on through Erechty, the highest stage in Scottish rallying, leading the championship drivers. But Jimmy Girvin was one of 24 registered championship drivers who failed to finish when he plunged off the road in Strathire Forest. Things didn't go much better for David Galanders, a former British national champion who also retired when his drive shaft failed. Colin Valentine continued to get the most from his Mazda. Ian Wilson went well, ending a good rally with a fine 16th overall. Less luck for Ewan Brewis. He was heading for retirement in his Mazda. So let's see what conditions were like on the 89 Scottish with this backseat view of De Villa Forest. Driving is Alistair Smith in his Volkswagen Golf GTI. So a storming pace from Andrew Wood, like this drive through Castleower in the Borders, pushed him up among the leaders. And for Colin Valentine too, a good event, although a few problems along the way, which left him in 35th position overall. Ewan Brewis failed to finish, breaking his gearbox in the dry and dusty conditions. No problems though for Wood, a fine finish at 10th overall, top championship driver, valuable points to push him up to 5th place in the table, and still 5 rounds to go.